would you alienate or have that divide with your family, with your personal life, when you're trying to build the family here?
Exactly. Yep. You got to stay close to your roots. You got to have your family, stay in touch with them. I'm going to put this out there to all the listeners. Stay in touch with your family, and go to those barbecues and stuff that they invite you to. And it's just good all the way around. Don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's one of the best times. Hanging out with my parents and the families is some of the best times I can ever think of. Family reunions and things like that. And a lot of my family, that's where I get my musical background from. So I have some cousins that play music, not necessarily metal, but different types of music, and so that's always been an influence on me growing up. Looking up to them, playing music, whether it was just at the house, amateur, or in a band. Some of them more professional musicians, and still are.
Right.
But some of them just had it as a hobby. But yeah, it was always through family that really influenced the music. I don't know about you guys.
Well, yeah. I mean, I had an older stepbrother that, he was real big in the punk scene down here, and he's since passed away. But he was kind of influential in that regard. I didn't appreciate it at the time. I was a shithead little kid. Excuse my language. I was a little, it was an appreciative kid. But yeah, we had that. There's a lot of growing up just listening to different music. My stepfather was in a band called Sugar Iced Tea. They're not around anymore, but they play a lot of the nightclubs, and I grew up with a lot of that influence.
Gotcha. And go ahead. Who's next to ask questions here, or does
Well, they were talking about about what they do on their spare time and stuff like that. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about Destructive Cell itself as a band?
As a band, there you go.
I mean, it's good to know about you guys individual and stuff, but as a band, what drives you guys? What gives you the want to do this, man? And for one thing, it's metal, bro. So you gotta have something that you want to go do this. You gotta let some aggression out.
Well,
yeah.
I had joined this band maybe 2012, 2013, maybe around and they had already, Alex, Saul, and Skylar already had some history together. I had already previously known Skylar. He was in different bands, and I was also playing in different bands at the time, maybe 10 years before. So we were always trading ideas, or sometimes going to each other's shows or things like that throughout the time. So we always kept in touch. And then one day you were just like, hey, you want to try out for this band, and I did. So I got in, and so I use it as an outlet. This is a music that's gotten me through hard times. I can remember growing up, and it's not easy being a teenager sometimes, and sometimes the death metal music just really got me through my hardest times, through my darkest times. I could be angry, but just be in my own little spot and just be just loving the music. So now that I can kind of be a part of that music, be a part of a production that makes the kind of music with Destructive Cell, with these brothers I have, it feels good to get back to the youth out there. If they want to have those feelings, but just have them. Everybody gets angry. Can relate. Yeah, right. Something everybody gets angry.
The bottled up feelings you want to let go. Yeah. Makes you bang your head against the wall.
There you go.
It's the poison of the day, man. It really is. Like, everybody's got things that they're exposed to during the day, and you get the frustrations, you get the anger. This is that outlet. And so that.
Can you get closer to the mic? I don't mean to break. Thank you.
It's that outlet that you get the poison out by playing through the music, but then you also give somebody the opportunity to get the poison out by listening to the music.
Yeah.
So I have one question for Saul.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can stand up.
I made this question specifically for him because I can relate to him, and we've played shows. My first show was at 17 years old, and he was already playing shows, so I respect that he's still grinding. So this is my main question for Saul. And what mindset did you have to process in order for you just to even make an attempt to making a comeback? Because I know when I was in my first band, I was 17 years old. I've been playing shows for like at least 10 years now. And I knew you were playing a little bit before then. And for a while you had stopped, and then I saw y'all came back. So what kind of mindset did you come back and be? who was the first member to join this new current lineup?
All right. Well, to kind of give you.
Oh,
the
if you can
history,
get closer to the mic, that'd be great.
To kind of give you the history.
There you go,
of,
brother.
Like.
I'm sorry
Just
about
switching
that.
chairs over here.
Just so we can, the audience needs to hear you.
So
Go.
kind of giving the history. Really, there was the mindset I had was still the mindset I've always had, which was never give up. Yeah, I've always done what I love to do. Like these guys just said, it's like a therapy. It's like something you always got to release. It's just your energy part. But going back to that, been jamming out since probably about 17 also. And this all started actually with another friend of mine, and we were jamming out. We were learning guitar together.
Wow.
And the whole thing, he was in Destructive Cell back in the day. But he actually, I was looking for a drummer one day, and Alex was just happened to be at that school, and we went to the same school together. And that's how we actually just like, I told him, hey, do you play drums? He's like, yeah. You want to jam? Yeah. All right. So we got everything down.
Just like that.
Yeah, it was just like that.
Just like that.
And I
Isn't that amazing?
I
That's
believe that
awesome.
same weekend, or like a day or two later, we went to his house and we started jamming out there. I brought my amps over, and it just pretty much clicked since then. And that was like,
We just had that connection, man. Yeah.
I think it was like 02, so 2002.
Yeah.
We're almost at 20 years about that. I mean, it's a couple of years shy now, but so we had that running for a good, 5 years as Destructive Cell, and we just came up like that. And after 2003, basically, that's when we started making a lot of music. We recorded some stuff together. Then shortly after that, like you said, there was an era where we kind of went on hiatus. Destructive Cell went on hiatus, and we lost the other members, for different reasons, but they had their own personal reasons behind it. But Alex never stopped drumming. I never stopped playing. It just kind of that kind of thing. And then one day comes up again, hey, I want to jam again. So we started playing again. We jammed together. It's like we never stopped. We were still connected. We were still good playing together. Like we sounded good together. Alex, during that time, he was in a band with Skylar, in another band. What was the name of the band?
That was 301 Shutdown.
Yeah. So
I've heard of that name before.
So yeah, they were in a band together, and after that, basically, we just started jamming together. We started writing stuff. Skylar knew Joe. Joe came into the picture. My God, when Joe joined the band, we just sounded full. Everything sounded.
Everything was like clicking,
And
right?
have you ever heard this guy play bass?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's give him a little hype over here. He knows what I'm talking
Most
about.
definitely.
But there was no real, never thinking about never doing this again. It was never about quitting or ever. Even I'm pretty sure till the day I die I'm gonna be playing guitar. But that's just me. That music's still in me.
That was one of the reasons I wanted to bring you guys in, because I knew I had. I've been playing since I was 17. I'm 30 already. It's more than 11 years of experience. But I knew you were before even me. So I'm like, hey, hats off to Destructive Soul, man, because
Thank you, sir.
they came back. They're still grinding. They still want to play shows. I'm like, let's get them here. Like they deserve this meeting.
I appreciate that, Blue.
So,
Let's get into questions here, and these questions are gonna go ahead and you already asked your questions there, Bloom, right?
yeah, we got chemistry coming up with a couple of them.
Yeah, guys. Actually, it's not really a question, but a little while ago.
What? It's not a
Skylar-
question.
Yeah, it's not a question, but it's like a question. So, no, we were outside a while ago, and Scotty was telling me, had a little story to tell here. There's something about a fire that they experienced, and pretty much it kind of held them down for a little bit, but they got back up that, and they've been jamming since. But let him tell you a little bit more about this story, man. It's pretty interesting here.
Well, we were going along, we're jamming in a storage unit, and we were trying to get some recordings that we, were trying to do ourselves and just see what we could get out there. And we had a little accident. We lost everything in the storage to a fire, and we lost everything. and it's cool when Bloom says that, Destruct to Sell made a comeback, because we did in more ways than one. We didn't give up. When I say everything was crisp, and we could have.
Yeah, we really don't want to rehash that, do we?
Yeah. So no, it was bad. I mean,
Yeah.
I found out because the fire chief called me a mission, and that was fun.
Oh my lord.
So the moral of the story is we continued on, and that's just
That's
something that
awesome.
we had to get through, and I think made us stronger in the long run, because it was a rebuilding.
I see you as a phoenix now.
I just wanted y'all
Just don't compare it to the movie.
From the fire.
Please.
Rise from the ashes.
Yeah, and I just wanted you to share that too, so that everybody can know and see that you all are a working band as well. You didn't just let that stop you and say, you know what, we lost our stuff, let's just give it up, and you all are still jamming out, you all are still doing what you do. As far as your genre, you all say you are metal, but you all consider yourselves any certain kind of metal? Like, I know there's black metal, there's thrash metal, there's all types of metal.
Progressive,
A little
maybe?
progressive, a little bit of everything. I don't know.
I think the reason we consider ourselves progressive is because not one of our songs, I guess, sounds the same, and you can see a lot of our influences in everything. When we play.
I heard more deathcore out of it.
Yeah.
Deathcore metal,
Going
like
to what Skylar was saying, it's what it makes you feel like.
It's your interpretation.
I guess you leave it to whoever's listening, which is beautiful. You know what? That is like that is the root of all arts. No, I'm not kidding. Look it up. I mean, that's the root of all arts. Interpretation, and it comes to the individual and what they think and what they believe. Because one person can look at a painting and they see, or a cloud. We'll take a cloud, right? And they, let's use a painting, and another person may look at it and feel sad. And then the other person looks at it and says, wow, that really reminds me of my ex, or a happier time, or something. I don't know, but that's just the way it seems to go,
It's not a happier time.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. That was a bad example. I was told bad, but sometimes, we get to a point where we just let things go, because it becomes baggage, you know what I mean? And as a musician and artist myself, I gotta say, it will give you some writer's block sometimes. Or it might inspire the heck out of you, and you might be in there just making like song after song after song.
Well, sometimes you might have to be like me. Sometimes it kind of wants to get you out of the game, but you just gotta fight harder, man, and push forward. I mean, you do what you do for a reason. I mean, I don't think you just started singing or pick up your guitar or bass just because. I mean, I'm sure something drove you to do that. So, I mean, all I can say, guys, is I love you guys' music, bro. You're the bass player.
You guys are one of my favorite
I
bands
seen you
in the
one
valley.
night at I think it was at the Averia, and you were standing a certain way. You kind of remind me of Robert Trujillo from Metallica.
Snap.
I was like, oh,
Oh,
yeah,
Lord.
man. I do have a question for Skyler. What came to be with that mask you wear, bro? I mean,
Yeah, that's a great question.
I wanted to really not, because I mean, I could have the mask, I've recently lost considerable amount of girth, so I don't, it's not as fat. But would you really want some fat screaming face to you, turning red, out of breath, or would you rather have some sort of imagery?
Wait a minute. Wait. So let's get this straight for all the listeners. You wore the mask because you didn't want people to think or to see your overweight. What you thought was an overweight face singing?
Not so much.
I mean, when I say it out loud,
take it that way.
No,
But I didn't want that to be the image of the band.
Gotcha.
And those that come out to the shows and those that give us their time and their attention, I think they deserve a show. And if that's the way that I can come up with to make the show a little bit more enjoyable,
It's definitely unique, man. It's awesome.
Well, thank you, man. It's just it's something that I want to put as the imagery of the band, so that it's not it's not this that they see singing or screaming or doing whatever.
It's destructive cell.
It's destructive cell. It's the representation of the band. And the different masks that I use, it's really the different feelings that I have at the time and the different energy that I'm trying to convey during what we do. And it's not so much one subject matter. It's not so much one direction that I want to go with it. It's more so trying to convey those feelings in a visual manner.
Well,
Wow.
And these masks that you talked about, do you create these masks? Do you design these masks, or do you just find them online, buy them, and figure, hey, you know what, no one has one of these, Or
Well,
I mean, it's not something I saw. That's why I say I when I first saw you
Yeah,
guys,
I
I saw the mask and I was like, these guys gotta be interesting. This gotta be interesting.
This is gonna be
Yeah.
great. You know that actually, I think they play. Did you guys play Applebee's when I had open mic
we
there?
played Fast Eddie's.
Fast Eddie's.
Yes.
Oh, I was like,
we had never
okay.
met before. We started talking online to get the show going.
They were completely blown away. They were like, "What the heck just happened?"
Those videos are actually online on our Reverb and available on a fine gentleman's YouTube account.
Yes,
that
sir.
He posted and he took pictures of. Those are available online, so you can actually see that show. But I remember you saying that when you saw me put the mask on and you just realized what you had booked that night. Oh man, this may have been a mistake.
Well, no,
And
actually,
we're very appreciative of the fact that you feel the opposite.
oh, definitely. And to be honest with you, I did tell my sound. Shout out to Adrian, A.K. Goliath.
Goliath.
Marta, been so hard. Woo! He's the man.
Yes, definitely.
So Goliath, shout out to you, brother. But I turned to him and I said, "Crank it up." Honestly, I swear, because I figured if they can take that at Fast Eddie's, they can take anything. And we literally brought any band that wanted to jam there. I mean, not just like off the streets or in the garage or whatever, like serious bands. We even had guys calling from Corpus Christi and coming down from Corpus Christi just to play an open mic there. It was amazing. I had never heard of that. I've never seen it. And you guys were probably one of the hardest bands that played that venue. And to this day,
Probably still to this day.
to this day,
Very much so.
yeah,
Well, and we're just lucky that they let us play the whole thing. They didn't give us the boot or the hook.
yeah,
Say,
you're right. But
That was very nice of them to
I
let
have
us
a
finish.
question. I have a question for you guys.
here we go.
This goes as far as digital platform and the medias and all that stuff. So I was talking to Skylar earlier, and he emailed me your latest video, your